Hello. Riter Radio 259. 259 episodes is a lot of episodes of this show. Question for you in the chat. People in the chat. You've been there for a little bit. What is a better look for the show as we stream it live? I assume if you're in the chat, you're watching and not just listening, right? Like your eyeballs are on a screen. If you're typing things, your eyes are on a screen. So what's a better look? Is it this, like for in general, as the show is happening, when I want to guess, it's just me talking, me just yapping at you. What's better? This, where there's all the stuff surrounding me, and still the screwed up Riter Radio logo that's oval instead of round. Not happy about that. What's better, that or just this one here, where it's just more me? There's too much me here. I think we can all agree on that. But I think maybe all the noise around me is wrong. And I can get rid of the ad up at the top there. It's not really an ad. It's like a promotional thing for a thing that I'm doing, which is Brain Vault every Tuesday at the Kaz. And I want all of you to come to it every single week. But I don't need to have it like getting in the way of my hand. Look, where'd my hand go? Watch, I have a hand. Oh no, Brad doesn't have a hand anymore. It's gone. See? So this look versus this look for the show, I kind of like this, but then when it gets edited for like little clips, it's always off center and crooked and weird. So I need your opinion on it. And the only way to ask is to alternate between the two and do it like right in front of you guys. I typically don't watch, but I prefer the one with the stuff. I prefer the one with the stuff too, Nick. But I don't know. I could listen to options. Put the stuff back. We'll go with the stuff. I like it with the stuff. It seems more like a production instead of just a dude in his house, which is what it is. I don't know. I'm considering all things. Also, I want to throw out there that when the show starts, sometimes it starts at 10:04 and sometimes it starts at 10:16, and that's me sitting with headphones on, jamming. Like I'm picking the songs. I have switched to Spotify instead of my own like personal collection, so as to be able to hit shuffle and walk away for 10 minutes if I need to. But like right before the show, I am picking the songs. Those are me. That's me getting in the mood and trying to get you in the mood. You know how it is. I'm lighting a candle for you. I'm dimming the lights. I'm lighting a candle. And I'm playing the songs I feel like playing. The things that are... I grew up thinking I would be a DJ on the radio, like an FM DJ, because I cared that much about music. I don't play anything, really. I play piano a little. I played guitar a little. I played trumpet when I was in junior high and a little bit of high school. I guess elementary school too. Whatever. I played trumpet. But I'm really, music does all the stuff to me. And so like when I'm playing a song, it's not just, oh, there's a song on. It's like, no, Brad is feeling this song or felt like he needed to feel this song. Like that is happening. I went last night to a kid concert again. We keep having those. It was a very good one though. It was my 6th grader in his 5th and 6th grade band. They played 4 songs. And then after that was the jazz ensemble of the 7th and 8th grade kids. And I have, a son in each of those. So they were both on stage. They both looked extremely handsome. And the bands were good and it was fun. But I'm like, especially with the jazz stuff, I can't walk out of one of those concerts, these jazz shows. All I want to do is go home and watch Whiplash. And I can't do any of the things that I'm hearing, but I feel the things that they're doing. And music matters to me. And it was awesome. It was awesome again. So super cool last night going to the kid concert. It was, I'm going to say nice, but it was different to have that instead of sports. We're back to normal today. Today is 3 basketball practices for one kid. And it's Thursday, so there must be baseball also. Yeah, Crap, forgot about that. So yeah, we're back at this. We're back at 4:30 to 6 basketball practice in Amherst. 6 to 7. Oh no, we don't have the 6 to 7 today. No. 4:30 to 6 in Amherst, 7 to 8 in Cheektowaga, 8 to 9 in Tonawanda. So I sent a message last night to both the coaches of the 7 to 8 and 8 to 9 practice. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to be fair to everybody. Sorry, my kid's playing on 3 teams. We're going to leave this one 10 minutes early. We're going to drive for 20 minutes, and we're going to be 10 minutes late for that one. And I think that's fair. Like we are committed. We're just overly committed. We have too many things. I have too many kids, and then we sign our kids up for too many things. And so I'm doing all of them, and we run into problems like this. And it just occurred to me now that there's also a 7 to 9 baseball practice for the little guy. I think Nate has the night off. He'll just be up in his room, I guess. He doesn't listen to the show, so I think I can tell this story. The most interesting thing that happened to me since I last spoke with you was sitting around so we go to this middle school concert last night. Middle school in our district is 5th through 8th grade. So Nate's in 6th, Zach's in 8th. Zach has a phone. Nate does not. He's got an old phone he carries around with him to play games, and he like chats with people online and stuff. He's got Snapchat or what? I don't know what he does. There was a time when I thought I would care about this, but I just whatever. It's fine. He wants to talk to his friends. Let him talk to his friends. I don't care. Until there's a problem, there's no problem. We get a text, I don't know, 5 minutes maybe before the concert starts that says it's from Zach to my wife. She's sitting next to me. We're in the auditorium waiting for the band and the jazz band to come on stage. And she gets a text that says, Nate has a girlfriend. He's in 6th grade. Good. You know, whatever. I remember 6th grade. I was heavily involved in caring about girls in 6th grade. But I haven't heard a lot of it from our kids. And we just got this text that said Nate has a girlfriend. And he continues, just apparently backstage, Zach talked to a bunch of Nate's friends. I'm with Nate's friends. They said he has a girlfriend. My wife is like, she has a prediction on who the girlfriend is. And it's one of the twins. I don't know any of this. I know none of this. But she thinks it's one of the twins. Is it one of the, she types in the last name that I've never seen before. Then she's like, oh yes, this name and this name, they've been friends since, kindergarten. I'm like, oh, all right. Sure. But it's not one of the twins. It's a different person that is a suspected, it might be the right word, or accused girlfriend of Nate. Because, you can't be accused of having a girlfriend when you're 6. He's not 6. When you're in 6th grade is what I meant. Yeah. That's bad. So that happened. And there's still like 2 minutes before the show. So I say, like, my parents are next to me too. So I've got my wife to my left. Her mom is to her left. My youngest son, Drew, is to her left. And then to my right is my mom and then my dad. And I turn and I'm like, it's funny. She just got a text from Zach, and it said Nate has a girlfriend. And they laugh a little and like, oh boy, here we go, that kind of thing. And then it goes away. Concert ends. We're standing outside of the auditorium in the hallway waiting for the kids to come to us. They've got, they just finished their show. And that's always kind of awkward, and sometimes they announce and sometimes they don't. Like, meet your kids in the hallway, go over there, do this, stay in your seats, whatever. This time they didn't announce anything, so we just we're standing in the back waiting around. And so it's me and my dad and Nate, who has returned. Now, Nate is the one who has been accused of having a girlfriend. I can say this because he's at school. He's not listening. He doesn't go back and watch Riter Radio. He will never catch episode 259 unless one of you text him, but you can't because he doesn't have a phone because I'm smarter than that. Jerks. Anyway, I'm in the hallway. We're just kind of broken up. We're just waiting around. We're waiting for Zach to come back, the oldest, to come back. Nate has already come back. And the way that it's broken up, because there's a table there, I'm standing in the hallway. My dad's right here, and Nate is right here. And my dad, who's not like this, or at least I want him to not be like this. I think he's not like this. He's like, what was that thing about Drew having a girlfriend? So he heard me, didn't totally process it, laughed, smiled the way you do when you don't totally hear a joke. You know, you don't hear it, it was meant to be funny, and the socially acceptable response is to be like, eh. And then you don't know what just happened, but you're like, I don't know, it's probably funny, it's fine. And then you let it go. My dad decides in the hallway to say, what's the thing about Drew having a girlfriend? It's not about Drew having a girlfriend. It's about Nate having a girlfriend. Nate is standing there when he says it. Luckily, Nate is half paying attention. So I'm not positive if he heard it, and I was able to get out of the conversation by going, and like kind of him, that one, that guy over there. That's who we were talking about. And then it went away, and we haven't talked about it since. But once we had a text message from the 8th grader about the 6th grader having a girlfriend that we had never heard of. We know her name now, too. I'm not going to reveal her in case her parents listen or something. But, and I don't know if it's true. I don't know. I just know that we have found a rumor about this kid having a girlfriend. And then when I told my dad about it, in confidence, thinking it was fine, he brought it up as soon as the three of us were standing together. Me, my dad, and the kid accused of having a girlfriend, which is not a terrible accusation. It's fine. But think about it when you're 11 years old and suddenly your parents and grandparents are talking about it standing in a school where she probably is. She's probably there. She's probably in the band, too. I mean, he didn't meet her playing travel baseball. I'll tell you that right now. It's Riter Radio. It's episode 259. I'm calling Jay Skursky. Jay is in San Francisco for the Super Bowl. In or near. I texted him not knowing he was there and said, are you around to do 15 minutes with me today at 10:30, 11, or 11:30? He said, I'm out in San Francisco at the Super Bowl. Are those times Eastern? If so, yes. I said, even better, Eastern. I'll call you right around then, and we'll be live when you go on. And then I said, sorry for the 7 a.m. text. He said it was okay. I've been up since 5. The media shuttle leaves at 6. So we'll get the full update on that now, because I'm plugging in the phone. We're going to do this live. So call Jay at 10:31. Not bad. I said 10:30. It's 10:31. Pretty good. It's the most on time I've ever been for anything, I think. 1 minute late. Jay Skursky.
Hey, what's up?
How's California?
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's good.
I would imagine.
I know. I don't want to brag about it, but it's nice.
No, you're allowed to brag. I didn't know you were out there. I wanted you on anyway just because I like having you on. And there's a lot of Bill stuff to talk about. And I would have hit on the Super Bowl, but we'll do that much more because I only discovered half an hour ago that you're out there. So I felt bad. I really did. I told this story that I felt bad that I sent you a text at 7 a.m. because I don't think that's in bounds to text people at 7 o'clock in the morning. But I didn't know you were in California, so I thought it was 10, and that seemed fine.
Yeah, it would have been okay. It would have been fairly early had I not been. But as I responded to you off the air, I've been up since 5. The media shuttle here leaves at 6 a.m. Sorry, it's a little loud. They're doing a mic check behind me, so
I don't hear anything but you. You're good.
Yeah, the media media shuttle leaves at 6 a.m. The Super Bowl is logistically kind of a nightmare. Everything, the media center and everything is kind of based in San Francisco. The Patriots, where I am right now, are in Santa Clara, and the Seahawks are in San Jose. So My comparison for that is, imagine that, downtown Buffalo was hosting the Super Bowl. One team was practicing in Batavia and another team was practicing in like Niagara Falls.
Oof.
So that's kind of like, that's kind of what we're looking at. So it's
so
a lot of time on media shuttles.
Not awful, but not good.
Yeah, no, it's just they're early mornings. Like as I said, the shuttle leaves at 6 a.m. and the good thing is it's these availabilities are over by about 10 a.m. Pacific time, so that's kind of nice. You kind of got the day in front of you, but definitely early wake up calls.
What's a goal for you as a reporter covering these two teams? Like you said, you're at New England right now, but like, what are you looking for when you're covering your team? You're covering the Bills. It's pretty obvious, but when you're looking at two different teams, one of which is much more relevant to Bills fans than the other, like what are you looking to do? Do you have plans? Do you have angles? Or are you just like, let's see what happens and like take it as it comes?
No, I think most of the week is mapped out. Obviously with New England being in the AFC East, there's some, I think probably more greater degree of interest in the Patriots. There's, the connections with Matt Collins and Stephon Diggs being former Bills. So, today, for example, I wrote about Hollins and he had some interesting things to say about, kind of not feeling valued by the Bills organization after the 2024 season. And, given where they were at wide receiver this past year, you could, kind of make the case like, hey, they probably should have brought this guy back.
Sure.
And then, Diggs is obviously kind of he's a superstar in the league and he's been, pretty open this week about, talking about his time in Buffalo and, having some regrets on how that finished. So there's some of that. There's, I've got a column Sunday coming about how, I think everyone in Western New York is united behind a common cause, and that is not having the Patriots win another Super Bowl.
Yep.
So it's a mix of kind of reporting on some Buffalo-ish angles. I talked with Leslie Frazier yesterday. He's with the Seahawks on their coaching staff.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he's got a long history in Buffalo. So for me, it's kind of a mix of like finding the Buffalo angles and then doing a little bit of column writing and things like that.
What has the experience been so far being out there? When did you get there? What's the whole story on your trip so far?
Yeah, so came out Monday, and that's pretty typical. You get the Super Bowl opening night on Monday. It makes, for a long week, certainly. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they have a player availability. Usually by Saturday, the week has kind of, if you're kind of grinding the first few days, you can kind of take a day on Saturday to enjoy, the city that you're in a little bit. So, last year it was New Orleans. Before that, it was Las Vegas. This is the first time I've been out here for Bills games before in San Francisco and one time on vacation, but have never spent this amount of time here. And so looking forward to, trying to get done by Friday afternoon / Saturday morning so I can kind of explore the city a little bit on Saturday. And then for me personally, it's kind of neat that Levi Stadium will be the last one in the NFL that I haven't been to. So on Sunday for the game, I'll be able to say that I've been to every NFL stadium. So that's kind of just a neat kind of personal thing that I'm looking forward to.
That's great. The only Super Bowl I attended, I went home on Saturday. So I still talk about going to the Super Bowl. It's no big deal to you. You do it all the time. I went to one. It was in New Orleans. It was the Patriots and the Rams. And I went home on Saturday. And then when I got off the plane is when I found out that Jim Kelly had gotten into the Hall of Fame. So that's how long ago it's been since I've attended a game, and I didn't even attend the game, and I still brag about going to the game that I didn't go to. There's a listener named Mike S. Mike S. asks, has Jay indulged in the San Francisco treat rice-a-roni?
I tell him, you know what? I'll text him when we're done, and I'll tell him no, and to stop.
You still have time.
Yeah, stop bogging down the show with questions like that. No,
you still have plenty of time. You'll be all right. All right, Bills stuff. Last I talked to you, they had no coach. Now they have a coach, but it's a coach that we know. Overall impressions of what has gone on in the last 2 weeks since the McDermott firing, which I think, I talked to you the day that he got fired. So it's been that long.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think initially I was a little bit underwhelmed by the Brady hire. A little bit surprised, actually, too, quite frankly, because, he was the first person to interview. They go on to interview, 9 candidates. And It feels like at that time, maybe they're not circling back to Joe Brady and that was just kind of an in-house thing. Also, at the time, Joe Brady had second interviews with a couple of different teams, so there was the very real possibility that they might lose him for that way. That being said, now that I've thought about it a little more, kind of sat on it, I understand the reasoning. I understand the desire to kind of keep, some measure of continuity for Josh Allen. Is it going to work? I don't know. I mean, we're going to find that out. Is it going to be a first-time head coach? And you never quite know. I will say that, it seems like the Bills have been doing kind of a media blitz here of sorts of trying to kind of get out, the message as to, why they made this decision, why Joe Brady is the right guy for the job. Whether that ends up being the case, we're not going to know until September. As I said, though, the more that I thought about it, I can understand some of the reasoning behind it and some of the vision that Joe Brady sold them on, particularly as it pertains to keeping some continuity with the offense and the quarterback.
To me, the phrase that keeps popping into my head is vibe tweak. Like they tweaked the vibe. They didn't blow it up. They're good. They win all the time. They win the division most of the time. They go to the playoffs every year. They have a guy who is the best quarterback I've ever seen play football on their team. There's something there that's right. I don't want to blow it up. I want to tweak it. And I think that's kind of where they landed overall. How they got there might be a little weird with, Bean being promoted the same day that McDermott is fired. That's a little weird to me. But generally speaking, like a global view of it, I feel like it's a tweak, and that's probably right. At least that's what I would try to do too.
And I would add to that players love Joe Brady. Okay, the offensive guys absolutely love playing for him. Go back and listen to Dawson Knox the day after the season ended talking about Joe Brady, or listen to what Dalton Kincaid had to say last week, or Josh Allen. Obviously, Josh Allen is going to have a close relationship with his offensive coordinator, his former quarterbacks coach, but it filtered out throughout the offense. And Khalil Shakir, I mean, I can go down the list of guys who have positive things to say about Joe Brady. There's a couple of things that I'll be interested in, right? The Bills are pushing this CEO vision, right? That's what they want the head coach position to be, alignment with Brandon Beane. Obviously, what that means is that they're on the same page in terms of player acquisition, in terms of free agency in the draft. Obviously, you can connect those dots, and it suggests that alignment had deteriorated, right, with Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane. And I think that, is probably the case. After 9 years together, there probably was some disagreements in that kind of thing. Here's the big thing for Joe Brady that I'm very interested to see. It's something that I want to explore more with him. Probably the next time I'll talk with him is at the scouting combine, which is only a couple of weeks away. The NFL calendar is kind of unrelenting in that way. But Josh Allen, to me, is the type of player who needs to be coached hard at times. And can Joe Brady do that? Is he going to be more than Josh Allen's buddy? Can he hold him accountable when he needs to be held accountable? Because I think there are times where that happens. And so is he comfortable in that role as a first-time head coach? Excuse me, as a guy who is close in age, quite frankly, to Josh Allen. Can he be that type of a coach when Allen needs it? That's something that I'm really interested in kind of seeing how that develops.
Do you think that cause you brought this up, and I'm trying to phrase the question properly, and it's taking me a second here, but the media blitz, is it more, I don't know, does it, pathetic is the wrong word, but does it feel groveling? Does it feel like, no, please still love us? Because it kind of feels that way. I watched Brady on his press conference, and he was fine. I thought his opening statement, he was all over the place and seemed out of control a little bit, and I think that was just emotion. And I'm like, you know what, let's let him go. He's pretty excited. He's got a sport coat on. He doesn't want to wear this. I could see that. And then once he sat down at the table, he was more himself. And then an hour later, he was on McAfee, and he was loose and regular, and there is where you could see why they hired him, to me. Mm-hmm. But I'm just seeing Bean going everywhere, and Brady is on everything, and it just feels like PR a little bit. But I don't hold it against them, but I don't know what to think about it, because it feels like I'm being pushed to think that this is a good decision, while I'm also thinking that it is a good decision, but I don't know if they're doing it to me. Do you understand? I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but I feel like I'm being pushed in that direction by like the PR machine of the Bills, even though I think without the PR machine, I would still be in that same exact spot. Does that make sense?
I do. Yeah, it does, and it's an interesting perspective. I would say this about it. I will slightly disagree with you a little bit on Brady's opening. I actually liked it. I found it kind of endearing. I thought the emotion and the nerves of it. Honestly, I think he was nervous, and I think he was very emotional. And one other thing that I thought he did a great job of, that the organization, quite frankly, maybe dropped the ball a little bit with, was he was very gracious to Sean McDermott in his opening statement when he took the podium. And so I thought all of that really was a good moment for Joe Brady. Yeah, he wasn't super polished necessarily, but that's okay. I don't really need that.
He was real.
Yeah, he was real. Yeah. Exactly. And then as far as the PR thing, listen, far be it for me to complain about a team being available, right? I'm never going to do that.
Right.
It's great for us to be able to talk with these guys. I will say this. They were losing the PR battle in the immediate aftermath of firing Sean McDermott. I think they misread the room a little bit in terms of the love that the fan base had for Sean McDermott, even allowing that there were a lot of people that were saying that he should be fired, and that goes back to 13 seconds and the repeated playoff failures. There were a lot of people that thought that, hey, Sean McDermott's taken him as far as he can go. He's a great guy. He's done a great job, but they need a change here. Well, they made that change, and then they realized, like, oh, well, maybe a little bit of be careful what you wish for here. And so they, it felt a little bit cold in the way that they did fire him.
Yeah.
There was a long time there where before they sent out a message of gratitude, of thanks, a video, all of that stuff. So I think the PR battle for them was not going well at the beginning. Now, you can look at that and say, okay, well, so are they course correcting here? Are they, making steps to kind of improve that image and to kind of show people why Joe Brady was the hire in the first place? I think that's fair to say. I also think, though, that that's what they should be doing, right? You want to get him out there. You want to get people on board with the decision and show what it is that they liked about him. And so I think for, honestly, today, right now, going on as we speak, Jim Leonard and the coordinators are meeting the media back in Buffalo. I'm, of course, obviously not there, but that's a great step, right? Because we never used to hear from coordinators. We would have to wait until the spring in April before we would, get a chance to talk to those guys. So I think it's a really good idea what they're doing right now, bringing in Jim Leonard, allowing him to talk about, what his vision will be for this defense. That's how you get the PR kind of back on your side and get people on board with these decisions.
Is it as simple as let everyone talk except for Terry Pegula? Because really, I think the firing is one thing, but the way that it went down with like Bean talking, but then Pegula interrupting to like try to help him, except Bean's good at the talking and Pegula's not good at just get him in the front row, let him sit there with everybody else, and then everything goes fine. Is it that simple? I think it might be.
I think there's some of that. And listen, I wrote a column a couple of days after that press conference that I thought, some of the reaction was a little bit over the top, honestly, in terms of, this disaster of a press conference and all the words that were being used, because I didn't think it was that. I do think that the owner created a mess for his general manager that he didn't have to, particularly with Keon Coleman. But here's my thing about Terry Pegula. And I know this wasn't exactly your question, but
I don't care. Do you think I care, Jay?
Well, what I would say about Pegula is that if he would have just gotten up to the podium and said, I feel like we've hit the proverbial playoff wall, there would be none of this pushback, because that is an entirely justifiable position for him to take.
Quite frankly,
there's a lot of people.
That's how I felt.
There's a lot of people that agree with him.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly. And so, I think he was trying to convey the emotion of that locker room. And I'm with you. Like, I was in that locker room, and it was more emotional than many other of these, horrific playoff losses that they've had. These guys were taking this hard. These guys were crushed, and he saw that. And did it move him? Did it have an impact on him? Yes. Is that the reason that he made this change? I don't necessarily know, but even if it is, you can't ignore the body of work and the repeated playoff failures. And so, listen, I think it was a good step by the Bills to make Terry Pegula available. We have been asking for it for years. He is the guy that ultimately had to own that decision, right? That was not Brandon Beane's call. Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott reported to Terry Pegula. So you can't put Brandon Beane up there to answer questions about firing a coach he didn't fire. And so I think having Pegula available listen, he's not going to be Jerry Jones, and he doesn't have to be Jerry Jones talking after every game. But when there are seismic changes to his professional sports teams, right? So if he fires Kevin Adams or if he fires Sean McDermott, I do think he should speak to the media. I think it was a good step in the right direction. And I hope that, within reason, that he's available more moving forward.
All right. Jay, I'll let you go. You got stuff to do. Thank you so much for checking in from San Francisco. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you. Jay Skursky, Buffalo News. On a whim. Hey, you know what I could use today? Skursky. Sent a text to Skursky. He's like, yeah, it's 7 a.m. here. What? It's now 7:48, and we just wrapped up 18 minutes talking. 18 minutes. Yeah, we had him on for a while. Good dude. All right, timeout. We'll get to the chat stuff and then everything else that I'm planning on doing today. But that was fun. Good to hear from Jay. We shall return with episode 259. I didn't even have to look at the sheet to know that it's episode 259. How about that? That's how on top of it I am today. You know what's funny? I'm wearing a sweater because I went to a concert last night. I slept in this. I'm cold. I'm so cold. It's so cold. Why is it so goddamn cold? I just slept in my clothes. And I got stuff all over my sweater. So this thing has to get washed. But the good news is I got no stuff from here up on the sweater. But if I stand up, if I go any higher than almost there. If I go any higher than this, you'll see problems. But I spilled stuff on the sweater. This is a sweater. This is dressed up classy Brad right here. This is like almost brain vault Brad. I look classy because I slept in my clothing and I'm only being shot from here up. Cool, huh? All right. Stick around. Riter Radio continues in just a moment. But we're going to play a couple songs, and then we'll be back. All right? You got it.
This is Riter Radio. Here's Brad.
Here I am. What's up? So I'm reading this story about the Muppets that I wanted to read yesterday, but I couldn't read. I don't like how this looks. I listened to all your things that you said about how I should put that. I'm taking this off the screen. I don't like the ad where it is. I didn't like it where it was. I don't like it where it is. I want the ad there. We need to sell tickets to Brain Vault next Tuesday. They just went on sale. It's completely available. Every seat is available. All seats are available. 0 tickets sold. They just went on sale. So now's the time to go grab one. And we're still running the same promotion where if you buy one, you're going to get an email after the show that invites you to another one for free. So tickets are $15 or $20. But it's really half that because you're getting 2. So buy them, and then come to the show, and then you get an email, and then you get a code, then you use the code, then you buy another one for free. And that's not really buying one. So you take another one. You steal one. You get to steal. I'm offering you the opportunity to steal a ticket, and I think that's a good deal. Episode 3 will be Tuesday at the Kaz. We had a lot of fun each of the last 2 weeks. Tim Graham has been a part of it both times. We had Jeremy White. We had Greg Bauk doing stand-up comedy, which was magical, honestly, because of all the technical things that were going wrong for me. If you know me and you know the show and you know what it's like, when I do something, I'm like, oh, I can do this, and then I can't, and it's in the moment, and I'm trying to entertain you while also fixing a problem. It's asking a lot of one man's brain. So to be able to go, hey, Greg, give me 3 minutes. And he would just, all right, and he'd just tell a joke that he had it all planned. It was awesome. I think Tim's back again this week, and we're going to add rotating guests as well. But please go to thecazbuffalo.com. Link is in the top of the chat. The little banner thing I'm going to take down right now because I don't like. There's a lot of stuff I don't like about it. We got to get a new one because it says season 1 begins January 27th, and we're now in February, so that's no good. We got to get a new banner, and the shape of it doesn't fit right on the screen. Somebody suggested putting it like down at the bottom under where my dumb face is. I've got writerradio.com and the phone number and the I don't even know what that is at Riter Radio. It's Twitter, I guess. I don't know. That stuff's small and irrelevant, and I should remodel this whole thing. But that's not going to happen in the middle of the week. Maybe for the weekend. Maybe, when I'm not at a basketball game or watching the Super Bowl, I'll modify the way that the show looks. Maybe I'll do that between now and Monday. I've had it in my head to try something new for a while. But based on research, and it's, quick research, going, hey, what do you think? What looks better, this or that? Because I asked earlier, hold on, I got to find a way to get rid of this thing. Hold on. Brain Vault, banner, gone. Oh, that got rid of. What do I have to? Oh, I know. I got it. Hold on. Do this. Get rid of this. Then hit this. See, I can do something. Look at that. Oh, it faded nicely, too. That was cool. This looks better. The wood wall looks good. Oh, we haven't talked about this. What about you guys up for helping me, telling me what looks better? So the reality is that how do I do it? All right, hold on. This is fun. We're experimenting live on the air. It doesn't really matter. All right, I switch out of studio mode. All right, so now anything I do is just going to happen right on the. You're going to see anything I click here. Anything I change, like I can get rid of everything. Watch this. This is going to be stupid. Ready? All that's gone. I can just get rid of that. I can get rid of this. And you're watching it. I can make this bigger. Oh, that would just be green screen. Never mind. I get rid of. No, I'm not going to get rid of that. That's the one thing I have to leave up. There's my name. Move my name. Brad Riter. Look at that. At Brad Riter. I can have that. Now I've forgotten what I was planning. I had a whole plan for what I was about to show you. Oh, the green screen. Okay. So if I open this. No. Go to that. Okay. All right. This is how we have to do it. I can change the background. So the wood wall has been cool. I did one show with this, one show with that. Here, look at the options that we have, and we can do anything we want. There's me for my 250th episode that didn't air on time, but that was ready. That was cool. That looked good. There was one show that looked like that. There's your standard wood wall. I've got a brick wall. We can do brick wall. Oops. Hold on. Oh boy, this is all a mess. I got to get rid of all these. We're ruining it. I'm ruining it. I'm ruining it myself. This is fun, though. It's experimental. All right, so brick wall. Is it too big or too small? I don't know what's happening with the brick wall. Brick wall. Select the brick wall. All right, I've got a brick wall. Normally, it would be full size. That's missing. This is just me with nothing. Then we've got me in like the White House, like a briefing room. Me in the briefing room. If anything's ever very, very important, if the Epstein files if that ever happens, I know we've been told to get over them. I wonder why. There's that. I've got a snowfall thing where it's just, hey, it's winter. Look at this. It's me. It's Brad. It's winter. I'm in Buffalo. Look how cold I am. There's that. But this is kind of fun. Something screwed up with the size of everything. I don't know why it's not showing the right way, but these are the options. When I am not doing a show, I can make them look better, but that's kind of fun. I got on air. I've got this with just the logo, a bunch of logos behind me. I can do that one. I can do, this is a neon, I call this neon, but this is just an AI creation of me in a basement studio is kind of what I went for. We'll get that as an option. And then I did one entire show where I just sat in Michael Scott's chair from The Office. I don't know. I think wood wall's right. I think we'll stick with it. Switch back to that mode. Switch back to this. Turn everything back on. We'll be good. I promise. It's coming. Not Brain Vault banner, rather. Twitch overlay, yes. Fade. Then we look like this again. But now the wall is not the right size. The wall's not filling up the... damn it. Whatever. This is why you can't experiment live. All right. Yesterday I was talking about there's a new Muppet show. There's a Muppets 50th anniversary special. And I wanted to read about it because the tease headline thing made me very interested. And I couldn't get it because it's Washington Post, and I don't pay $2 a month or whatever it is or a week. I don't know. I can't subscribe to everything. So sometimes I'm like, ooh, that sounds like a good story. I want to talk about it because I like the Muppets a lot. I include them on in the open of the show every day. I just think they're fun, man. It's nostalgia, but it was just really well done. It was cool. It was casual and fun, and I wish my show was the Muppet Show. Like, I want the show, I want it to be that. That's what I want Brain Vault to be. I want it to be part Kill Tony, part Muppet Show. I want fun. I want energy. I want people to hate it and love it and laugh at it and boo it and all of that. Like, just fun, energy, music, lights, all of it. Trivia. I like the Muppets. I envy the Muppets. I think they're good. I like those little... Their vibe. Their vibe is the best. And so there's a 50th anniversary special. And without even reading the article, I knew that the theme of the article was, it just feels like the Muppet Show. It doesn't feel like a anniversary thing. It doesn't feel like a special. It just feels like the show. I was like, yeah, I'm in. Give me that. John Denver's dead, so we can't use him, but give me something in his place, and we'll be fine. And they gave us Sabrina Carpenter, which is fine. I can hang out with Sabrina Carpenter and the Muppets for half an hour. That's cool. It's half an hour long. It's not an hour. They didn't drag it out. They didn't do any of that stuff. They just made an episode of the Muppet Show that's new. And I could tell from the tease part of the headline. It was the headline, but then there was like more to it. Like, I want to read this. And I couldn't read it. But shout out to my wife's cousin, Liz, who's like, I have a subscription. Here it is. And sent it to me. And now I have all the words. And I read all the words immediately right after the show. She sent it during the show yesterday when I was trying to open the article. She sent me the article. But I didn't notice until after the show because I'm busy doing the show. Like, if you're texting me, if you're a friend of mine or a relative, and you're sending me a message on my phone, more than likely I won't see it until noon or 12:17 or whenever I end the show. So I saw it afterward. I opened it up. I said, thank you. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm going to read this now. I read it now. Oh, well, I read it then. I read it now is a sentence that doesn't make sense. I guess I read it just now. I just read it. That makes sense. But I read it now. I read it then, in the moment. I got it. I was like, yes, I want to read this. A, made me really want to watch The Muppet Show. B, was really well written in a world of so much AI writing. I've been using AI a bunch to write, like, the show notes. If you go on Spotify or YouTube, when the show is posted after the live version of it, I didn't write that. I take the transcript from the show, I put it into AI, and I say, sum up this show in 2 paragraphs. And it's always, like, overly glowing and complimentary. But I have learned, like, the voice of that AI, like, I'm sure it's partially shaped by what I do. But it's got this tone to it that I recognize when I see it elsewhere. Like, there is a... All right, here we go. We're going to blow somebody up real quick. I'm not going to say his name. There is a former Buffalo sportscaster who has been posting things. He's a Facebook friend, and he's been posting these really long things, and they're thoughtful, and they're really good, and people are very complimentary about the things that he's posting. He is 100% using ChatGPT to write these lengthy Facebook posts, these thought pieces about the world. Like, there'll be a thing, and he'll think it, and for sure, the AI is telling the basic story of what he's trying to say. But he is attempting to pass it off entirely as his own. And I haven't seen anyone call him on it, but it's happening. And look, I get what using AI does. It speeds a lot of things up. It helps me when I am getting ready for Brain Vault, and I'm like, I need 5 questions and answers about NFL award winners, for example, because I'm using it to help me write the trivia questions, because why would I not? I wrote 45 trivia games with 500 questions in each of them. like all just me. I just did it. And it took me so long, and it was so much work, and it's so much easier to be like, write me a question about this. You then have to look at it and make sure it's right. And, you know, figure out some of it, like they'll write the same question twice. It's not perfect at all, but it's a very helpful tool. It's like employing a bunch of morons to help you. That's what AI is. As of right now, it's going to get better or worse, however you want to look at it. It's going to get more productive. It's going to get smarter. But as of right now, using AI to write things is just like having useful idiots. That's what it's. A group. ChatGPT to me is 5 staff members of Riter Radio, and all of them are stupid. But sometimes you don't want to do every little thing, so you're like, hey, stupid people, take care of this for me. And then you still have to check it and make sure that it is passable. And it often is not. They're often dumb. These 5 people that are combining to be AI they're artificial. They're not great. They're fake, and they feel fake. But they can get pretty good once they get the tone of your voice down. And I think that is what has happened with this one guy who is a former sportscaster who is putting out these very thoughtful essays lately. And they're so obviously not written by a person because they sound exactly like my show notes. I can just tell. I've known the guy for years. I know what he talks like. I know what he writes like. I know what he sounds like. It's not this. And I've seen it twice. I didn't know I was going to talk about this. So this was not a plan. But I could tell it's written by AI. The reason I brought it up is that this Muppet thing is not at all written by AI. You can tell it's an actual writer with talent. There is room in the world for people to keep working. If you're good at what you do, you're going to be fine. You're not going to be usurped by AI. And the thing that led me into this, too, is I looked up her name, the name of the woman who wrote the story about the Muppets. The Muppet Show refuses to modernize in its triumphant revival. On the 50th anniversary of Jim Henson's show, The Muppets, with a boost from guest star Sabrina Carpenter, pick up exactly where they left off. The way I phrased that made it weird. It wasn't written weird. It was written fine. On the 50th anniversary of Jim Henson's show, The Muppets, with a boost from guest star Sabrina Carpenter, pick up exactly where they left off, is how that was meant to be read. It's written so well. It's such a good piece of, I don't know if journalism is the right word, but criticism. And I was like, all right, well, this is a real person, I think. And then I'm like, who wrote it? Because I do that a lot. Because a lot of things I click on, it'll say it's Sports Illustrated. But I don't even know if Sports Illustrated is still a thing. Like, that might just be computers. SI. Now, maybe there's somebody that still works there. Maybe they still put out a magazine. I don't know. But I get things that say Sports Illustrated at the top, like in the like the address bar of the browser or whatever. That makes it seem like, okay, this one's real. It's not World News Now .tv or you know, it's not a made up. I think it's people, but then you click it and it's not people. And then you look and either like I wonder, for a while I was wondering before I started using AI more. I was wondering every time I read something, is that AI or just somebody fresh out of college? Because it's kind of the same. It's kind of what I was saying earlier, that AI is like employing 5 morons. Like, they might have a good idea here and there. It might be helpful, but I don't know. I got to go through it. And so I will open a story. I'll read the story. I'll get the sense, this is written by a robot or a moron. And then I'll click on the author and try to figure out, like, oh, it's a kid who still goes to the St. Bonaventure. Cool. Or it's know, it's a name that nobody would name a person. Like, I don't believe you. So the name of the person, the name of the author for this Muppet story from the Washington Post is Lily, L-I-L-I, Lily Loofborough. And that sounded like a made-up AI name, Lily Loofborough. But I checked, and by all accounts, she seems to be real. And I think I need to become much more acquainted with her writing. I found her website, and one of the like things you can click on there is things I've written. It's just home, about, things I've written, and blog. And things I've written, I want to read almost all of them. The Male Glance, Zelensky is Resurrecting the West, the post-traumatic novel, Louis C.K.'s special, Sorry Isn't Bad, but it shows what he's lost. I'm definitely going to read that. The Myth of the Male Bumbler, the female price of male pleasure, how political amnesia helps us mishandle the pandemic, the debt immigrants can never repay. I'm into all of this. And there's, I don't know, 50 things written here. Something about Cosby. Something about Brangelina. Brainwashing Woody Allen. I'm in on all of these things. I think this is my new favorite writer, Lily Loofborough. She's won some awards. She's written for the New York Times Magazine, the New York Review of Books, The Guardian, The New Republic, Talking Points Memo, PMLA, Salon, Slate, Al Jazeera America, The All, AWL, Post 45, The Los Angeles Review of Books, New York Magazine's The Cut, Oyster Books, Boston Review. This is real. This is a real person who's doing the real thing of being a real writer. She already is like just behind. I'm going to go Chuck Klosterman first, who's got a new book out called Football that I have not yet read, but I can't wait to read. And who else is good? Gladwell. Malcolm Gladwell, while I find him slightly irritating at this point in my life, I'm still interested in everything he does. Same kind of thing where, like, I know his tone, and it's a little tedious and, I don't know, overwrought at times, but I like him. Generally speaking, like, I read his first, 5 books and kind of bailed after David and Goliath, maybe. Is that 5? I wanna pursue this Lily Loofborough thing to completion, or till I get bored. One of those, either way. Here's the Muppet story. I know we just talked about the Super Bowl and the Bills, and Jay Skursky was on, and that was awesome, but we're going Muppets now. Sorry. The Muppet Show special is mediocre. This is as it should be. Good and right. All right, you got me. You got me already, Lily. She's great. I love Lily Loofborough. Her name seemed fake, but now she seems real. I think she's real. If she's not real, then I want the AI that wrote this. I want my AI to think like Lily Loofborough. She's my Saskia Hamilton. I've never met her. Just saw her name on a spine. Let's go. I don't know what she is, but I like her. The beloved show Jim Henson created 50 years ago after leaving Saturday Night Live made flappable imperfection its governing ethos. AI can't write that. The goal wasn't to create a flawless night of entertainment. It was to mine the chaos of a production, especially backstage, for joy and laughs. Now you can, if you think like me, if you know me super well, you know what I'm about to say. Sounds like Brain Vault, right? That's what I'm trying to, I didn't know until I read this that what I'm trying to do with the trivia show is create the Muppet Show. I thought I was trying to create Kill Tony. It's a Muppet Show. It's somewhat controlled chaos, fun, noise, laughter, music, lights. That's what we're doing. Beer. Drink whatever you want, but I'm just saying there's a bar. I'm trying to do the Muppet Show with a bar. That's Brain Vault. We're 2 episodes in, and I'm now thinking, oh, yeah, Muppet Show. Muppet Show is what I meant. I knew that thought came from somewhere. I knew my vision came from somewhere. It's the Muppet Show. The goal wasn't to create a flawless night of entertainment. It was to mine the chaos. I could stop there. But, yes, of a production, especially backstage, for joy and laughs. Bad on the Muppets has always been good. That Fozzie has terrible punchlines is exactly what made his sketches fun. Miss Piggy's insistence on her talent is marvelously undercut whenever she actually performs. Seth Rogen has resurrected the show, along with other producers, has resurrected the show as a 30-minute special that doubles as a backdoor pilot for a possible revival. Director Alex Timbers preserves the show's loose, bubbly sense of fun. Loose, bubbly sense of fun is a perfect phrase for Brain Vault and for the Muppet Show. This episode, featuring a pitch-perfect Sabrina Carpenter as Kermit's guest star, doesn't feel overproduced or overthought. It is merely, and I mean this as a compliment, another episode of the Muppet Show. I love this. It's not the best episode of all time. It's an episode of the best show of all time. I'm exaggerating a little about it being the best show. You get what I'm saying. Like, we're producing the show because we love this show, so let's just do another episode of this show. Every episode doesn't have to be the new best episode. It just needs to be in line with the other episodes. You don't need to be like, you got to see this episode of The Muppet Show. You need to be like, you got to watch The Muppet Show. Like, that's what it is. Brain Vault, same. Every episode doesn't have to be the same. Or it doesn't have to be the best. Excuse me. It has to be the same. Once we get it to where it needs to be, just that again. Do that again. Start over. New one. Go. Muppets. I didn't know how much of an influence the Muppets had on my life until reading this article. And I have Lily Loofborough to thank. And also Liz. Thanks, Liz, for sharing the article. Sure, there's sporadically a sense of occasion. Quote, "We're doing the show again, Frog," Rolf says thrillingly. Hold on. "We're doing the show again." Wow, I didn't know I could do that voice that well. Rolf the dog here. Pleased to meet you. I have the Muppet album, the Muppet movie soundtrack album, and it's so good. I also had Rainbow Connection on 45. And on the back, I believe, was the one I just, Rolf the dog here. Pleased to meet you. Oh, I hope that something better comes along, I believe, is on the back. That's the best song. Well, I don't know if that's the best one. Moving Right Along is great. The one with Dr. Teeth is great. Muppet Show with a bar and no Muppets is an interesting tagline. Yeah, I don't hate that. Honest to God, it's the Muppet Show without the Muppets. But with tequila. There's tequila, and then it's the Muppet Show without the Muppets. Not bad. Could be the non-Muppet Show. I hope that something better comes along is my favorite. I think it's my favorite. Rolf the dog here. Pleased to meet you. What else is he saying that? Hold on. I know other things. What could be better than a saucy Irish setter when puppy love comes on strong? A collie that's classy. A laddie needs a lassie. Da-da-da-da-da. Get a new leash on life. Isn't that leash? Lease? 2, 3, 4. I'm definitely playing that song. I'm queuing it up so that it comes on after when I take a break. I want to take a break in the middle of talking about the Muppets to play the song for the Muppets. All right. Is it really called All of That? I hope that something better comes along. Oh, the grasshopper, please. I hope that something... There it is. I'm going to... You know what? Unprecedented. I'm going to play the song in the middle. Like, I don't want to take a break. I want to talk. I want to keep reading this and continue connecting the Muppet Show to Brain Vault. but I need to hear Rolf. Rolf the dog here. Pleased to meet you. He's the bartender. I'll have a grasshopper, please. Not a terrible Kermit. Great Rolf, I think. Sounds right to me. In my head, that sounds right. I'm playing the song. I'm going to take myself off the screen so that I know how to edit this later, because I'm going to get busted for playing a song during the show. So I'm going to do that. We're going to listen to one song. I want you to hear this song. I want you to appreciate the combined, like, adult and child humor in this single song of a frog going into a bar and ordering a grasshopper because he's a frog. And the bartender is a dog who also plays the piano. That's what I want Brain Vault to be. It's hard to pull off. I didn't know this until now. This is self-realization in real time. Damn, I want to be a Muppet. Damn, it feels good to be a Muppet. All right, I'm switching the thing. I'm still here. We're playing one song, and then I'll be right back. But I want you to hear, I hope that something better comes along. I also want you to notice, how good this is. Rolf the dog here. Pleased to meet you. All right? That's what you're going to hear. I could work for the Muppets. I could be a Muppet. Hell yeah. That's perfection. That is perfection. That song is perfection. Everything that entertains me is contained within that song. Somebody wrote, "What a great song." I said, I cannot think of a better song. Listening to it, there are jokes in there. It's how many jokes? If you sat and calculated the number of jokes that are written into that song that also is super catchy and kind of rocks, where would you land? 58 jokes? Are there 58 jokes in a 3.5-minute song? Good God, man. That is perfect. What year is that? 80? 79? I need to look this. I want to read about the show, the 50th anniversary episode, but that is unbelievable. Was that Randy Newman? It seemed like it was written by Randy Newman. Or was it? We're going to find out. Wait, I need to find out. I hope that something better. I hope there's a whole Wikipedia page for the song comes along. I hope it was written by Randy Newman, because that's what I was sensing. It's sung by Jim Henson, it says. But let's get some details on this. Is there a Wikipedia page for that song? There's a Muppet wiki page. Let me just try regular Wikipedia. Hold on. Be there. Rainbow Connection's got a page. Muppet Movie Soundtrack's got a page. Muppets The Green Album has a page. They do mention, I hope that something better comes along on there. So this is just a regular Google search for I hope that something better comes along wiki. And then it's not something, it's something. Okay, maybe that'll help. But it's a Muppet thing, Wikipedia, and then just a Reddit thread about shared custody post-divorce with infidelity from the subreddit Autism in Women. After over 12 years together, my ex-husband cheated on me, 44, female, with another woman, asked for a divorce, and started a new life. I'm not going to read that one. No, I just want to know, like, details on this song. All right, I'm going to try Muppet Wiki, MuppetFandom.com. We'll see. I don't think this is going to give me all the info I want. I hope that something better comes along as a duet performed by Kermit the Frog and Rolf the dog. By the way, how'd I do on Rolf? Rolf the dog here. Pleased to meet you. After Miss Piggy apparently abandons Kermit at the Terrace restaurant, he wanders to the bar and orders a grasshopper. I'll have a grasshopper, please. To drink away his sorrows, the pianist, Rolf. I love that it's Rolf. It's not Ralph. Rolf. R-O-W-L-F, Rolf. Rolf Riter. This is my son, Rolf Riter. 2, 3, 4. Commiserates with Kermit as they sing about the difficulty of living both with and without women. You can't live with them. You can't live without them. There's something irresistible-ish about him. At the end of the song, Ralph notes, it's not often you see a guy that green and the blues that bad. This is a pairing of the two characters because Jim Henson performs both voices. Written by Paul Williams. There it is. Paul Williams. I don't know what that guy did, but I knew who he was when I was a kid. He's in the movies. He's around. Little, like, blondish, glasses, nerdy, but, like, interesting. Kind of, at the time, I think I probably confused him with, well, Randy Newman would make sense, too. Randy Newman, similar. But almost, oh, God. My brain's not working. Studio 54 artist, soup cans. Wow. Come on, brain. Come on. You can do this. We're going to take a break. No, I'm just kidding. Campbell Soup. Everyone's saying this for 15 minutes. That guy. Campbell Soup. Can. Artist. Andy Warhol. Good God. Kind of an Andy Warhol vibe to Paul Williams. I think he was in the movies. The movie for sure. The first one. I don't know. The Muppet Caper and the Muppets Take Manhattan. And that's, I don't know if he was in those. But you get what I'm saying. Andy Warhol is the name I was looking for. 9.2 out of 10 on my dog voice. 2, 3, 4. All right. Back to the article. No. I just wanted to find out. All right. Let's find out what Paul Williams did. This is a rabbit hole. Welcome to Riter Radio Rabbit Hole. Paul Williams, what about him? He was born in 1940. Yeah, that's him. Blondish hair. Had the glasses that are tinted, kind of. Had that look. Some of his most famous compositions include We've Only Just Begun, just an old-fashioned love song. I Won't Last a Day Without You, Nice to Be Around, You and Me Against the World, Sad Song, Evergreen, Rainy Days and Mondays, and Rainbow Connection. There's a biographical documentary called Paul Williams Still Alive and includes clips of his appearance on The Muppet Show. He wrote Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas songs and score, Muppet movie songs and score, Muppet's Christmas Carol song and score, Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas stage production songs, A Muppet's Christmas, Letters to Santa. Look at this guy. That's probably all I know him from, being a little weird-looking blonde dude with glasses on The Muppet Show. Kind of looks like a Muppet. Love this guy. Paul Williams. Shout out Paul Williams, who is old. Born in 1940. It doesn't say dead. Let's just call him real quick. I can't call Paul Williams. I'm just kidding. All right, back to the story from Lily Loughborough, my Saskia Hamilton. Sorry, I saw the word Ralph, and then we had to listen to a song, and then I had to talk about it for 11 minutes or something. 2, 3, 4. Seth Rogen makes a brief cameo in which he's unceremoniously bumped, but the show barely feels any need to introduce itself to new audiences. There's no effort to modernize. This is not ABC's The Muppets, the sitcom that launched in 2015 with Kermit and Miss Piggy estranged and Piggy hosting a talk show. Or 2020's Muppets Now, an ostensibly unscripted show consisting of various acts with Scooter acting as the bridge between them. The Muppet Show, with one exception, which I'll get to, basically nails it. The special is unapologetically nostalgic and gloriously so. How magical it is to see that grand old marquee exactly as it was, to hear, it's time to play the music, it's time to light the lights, and to watch all those fuzzy goofballs deliver that absolute bop of an opening song without a single concession to how time has, in fact, passed. The exception is Sabrina Carpenter, whose many delightful scenes opposite Miss Piggy keep driving home to the latter's mounting annoyance how old she is. This is so well written. The Muppets are the best, and this is like the best thing I've ever read about the Muppets. Then we just listen to the best Muppet song. I'm going to watch this Muppet episode. There might be more Muppet content tomorrow. I cannot promise that it won't happen. Paul Williams is in Smokey and the Bandit. Little Enos Burdette says Paul Peck, who chimes in on the chat. Unless that's fake Paul Peck, but I don't think that sounds like something Paul would know and say. And who's gonna imitate Paul Peck? You know you can't pull that off. You can't be Paul. Good call, Paul. Thanks, man. There are a few Easter eggs for superfans. In her opening number, Carpenter inflicts mild violence on a number of male Muppets in what feels like a nod to Rita Moreno's legendary and Emmy-winning guest stint, which featured her singing I Get Ideas while genially assaulting her dance partner. How good is this writing? I can't get over the writing. Lily, what's her last name? It's a crazy last name. Lily Loofborough. I love Lily. I sounded like Ralph there when I said that. Lily Loofborough. Ralph the dog here. Pleased to meet you. Want a grasshopper, Lily? All right, where was I? The show feels less scholarly and responsible than simply straightforward. I love everything about this. I love the writing. I love the show from reading the writing. Scooter once again knocks on the guest star's dressing room door to announce the seconds till the curtain rises. An At the Dance segment makes good use of Pepe the King Prawn. Gonzo, still voiced incredibly by Dave Goelz, does one of his trademark daredevil stunts with a highbrow twist. It's not that good. A Muppet Newsflash prominently features Rudolph, who suffers some ill effects following a more than usually perplexing Muppet Lab segment. Grumpy critics Statler and Waldorf get plenty of screen time. How is this not lauded as the greatest show in television history? Just reading an article about it makes me so badly want to be a Muppet. Like, I just want to live in that world. Damn, they're good. So is Lily Loofborough. I don't know what I like better, Rolf or Lily. Best of all, the background teams with Muppet extras, Muppeting hither and yon without lines or rolls. That sentence made me love Lily and made me love this Muppet episode I have not seen yet. Yes, that's what I need. I don't have a plan for all of it, but just, we got a bunch of puppets. Use them all. Just put them all in the background. Get them there. Fantastic. Together, they create an impressively dense and populated panorama featuring some tremendously artful puppeteering that you might not even notice the first time you watch. Carpenter's energy is ideally calibrated for a program like this, and her final number, which I'm not allowed to describe here, but which features two main Muppets, is genuinely iconic. Holy crap. I'm going to see an iconic moment with two prominent Muppets and Sabrina Carpenter when I watch this thing. I haven't seen it yet. I'm so excited about this. It's so stupid, right? But this, to me, is the world of entertainment. This is what I want to exist everywhere in the world. And this is the writing I want to exist. I'm so excited about all of this. This sounds stupid, right? I can't even imagine what AI is going to say when I ask it to give me I'm going to give it the transcript of this show. I'll be like, summarize it in 2 paragraphs. And it's going to be like, Brad really likes the Muppets. Out. Yeah, I don't know. Eric Jacobson's Miss Piggy remains excellent throughout the episode as she struggles to absorb Carpenter's praise while sustaining her own sense of rivalry. There's a notable change, however. She expresses surprisingly little tenderness toward her Kermie. Bum, bum, bum. Plot twist. Not super into Kermit. And then they use a screenshot. Keep in mind, these are puppets. There's a screenshot that absolutely perfectly shows that she doesn't really care about Kermit anymore. He's a frog. She's a pig. We should care about a frog. And I don't know if it's, if it goes that deep with her where she's like, I'm out. I don't like frogs anymore. But she doesn't like Kermit anymore. You can see that from a picture of puppets. They're not even. Ugh. All right, that brings me to the fly in the ointment, so to speak. Like Piggy, I found myself more annoyed than charmed by a frog I once adored. Again, shout out Lily Loofborough. Tremendous sentence right there. Who writes that? AI can't write that. AI cannot write. Like Piggy, I found myself more annoyed than charmed by a frog I once adored. That's fantastic. That sentence should win an award. Kermit, the Muppet Show's star and protagonist, doesn't work well in this iteration. So this is a dark turn here to me. Because, yes, all the characters are great. I love the whole mess. Especially Rolf. But Kermit's got to drive the show. And now I'm learning that Kermit is less likable. And that could hurt. Matt Vogel, who took over voicing the character when Steve Whitmire was fired a decade ago, is a versatile and gifted puppeteer. But his Kermit doesn't sound or act like the Kermits of yore. And that's weird enough, and sufficiently drastic a change from the original, which is otherwise so faithful, that it does start to become genuinely distracting. I wish I hadn't read this part of it. If I had arrived at this conclusion on my own after watching the Muppets 50th anniversary special, I'm like, you know what? I don't like Kermit anymore. I'd feel, it would be genuine. Now I'm going into it going, oh, man, come on. Can I please like Kermit? But I'm reading this, and I've loved everything else she's written about this show, and I believe her now. I don't know her at all. I've never read anything she's written. Lily Luftwaffe? Lufthammer? Luftbucket? Luftborough. Lily Luftborough is an excellent writer. And through these first 4 paragraphs, I love everything, and so I believe her now. And now she's telling me Kermit sucks. I don't want Kermit to suck, but now I think Kermit sucks. I don't want Kermit to suck. But his Kermit doesn't sound or act like the Kermits of yore, and that's weird enough. I just read that whole sentence. I'm going to skip past that. Kermit is far less flappy. His jaw far less clenched. He's less vulnerable, less volatile, less tender, less stressed. Watching Kermit decompensate over the half hour has always been one of the show's chief pleasures. I've never thought of it that way, but I believe you, Lily Luftborough. You could practically watch Kermit's blood pressure rising as he struggled to preserve his tolerance, patience, and equanimity until he exploded, screaming or waggling his hands and head while gazing at the sky. That. Right, I need that. With the skinny, flappy yarn. That. You can't take that from me. This Kermit is comparatively composed and sedate. That's a shame. A Muppet that's less physically expressive is also less compelling. Lily Luftborough. God, you're good. That's not a small problem, but it might not be a huge one either, especially since the specials seem to be tilting away from Miss Piggy's pursuit of the frog in charge, which structured so many of the original show's storylines. I have other notes. I found myself thinking, for instance, of ways various sketches could have been punched up. Some seemed more random than funny. Then again, that's always been the case. The Muppet Show has never been about being great. It's been about feeling good, and on that front, boy, does this silly little special deliver. Bravo, Muppets. Bravo, Dead Jim Henson. Bravo, Lily Luftborough. I love all of you. You're the best. All of you are the best. I don't hope that anything better comes along. I hope that we get more of that. I hope that something better comes along. Boom. 9.2. 9.2 is a crap rating, Nick. I'm better than that. 2, 3, 4. Come on. Paul Peck just chiming in the chat. I watched the Muppet special last night. It was awesome. Took me back to my childhood. They played all the hits and had plenty of Waldorf and Astoria crankier than ever. It's Statler and Waldorf. But I know what you mean. The old guys named after hotels. Waldorf and Astoria. I get it. Statler and Waldorf is what you meant. But yes, Paul. So if you're lit, Paul, are you going to... I don't feel like we should talk about the show now because you've seen it and I haven't. But can I, in the chat, get a commitment from you to come on tomorrow to give me like 10 minutes about the Muppet special that I promise I will watch between now and that show? Paul, if you're still there, let me know in the chat. If not in the chat, I'll just get in touch with Paul. I'm probably going to watch it when I end the show, and then I edit out the songs, and then I hit download or whatever. I don't know, but it like renders the video, and that takes like 40 minutes. The show is 30 minutes. So when the show ends, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to process the video to post on Spotify and YouTube. And while that's happening, I'm going to watch the Muppet movie or Muppet Show 50th anniversary thing that's available on Disney. And when I get done, I'll still have 8 minutes left in processing. And then it'll get posted. And then I'll get on with my life. Who says no? Not me. I remember watching Muppet Babies on TV all the time as a kid. Yep. Animal is my favorite Muppet, although Scooter isn't bad either. There's so many good. They're so good. Animal screaming, 5 golden rings. Or gold. Does he say gold? 5 gold. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't do that. Miss Piggy says 5 golden rings. He won't go. On, what is that song? We wish you a Merry Christmas. Won't go. Won't go. He's the best. The Muppets are the best. There's such a good vibe. Dr. Teeth is great. Floyd is great. Is that available? Can you watch like all the old episodes of The Muppet Show? Because that's a reason for... I have 75 different streaming services. I would pay for a 76th if it featured The Muppet Show. Like all the Muppets. It's probably not a Disney property, right? What is it? Although the new thing is on Disney Plus, so maybe Muppet Show streaming. Dun, 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 dun. It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to get things started on the Muppet Show tonight. Disney Plus. Special event is there, but where the archive? Muppet Show archive streaming is what I want to ask. Do, 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 do. Muppet Show Season 1 YouTube. There's a 2005 4-disc DVD set collecting all 24 seasons of the first all 24 episodes of the first season of The Muppet Show. So in 2005 that happened. Is there a streaming version? Here we go. Reddit again. Reddit, subreddit Muppets. Any way to watch the Muppets in high quality? Honestly, Disney Plus is the best, most complete version of the show we've ever had. There are only about a dozen episodes with missing sketches. All right, well, I've had Disney Plus for a long time. I don't know that I've ever turned it on. Aside from maybe watching Star Wars movies with the kids or something. But I have it because it's packaged with Hulu, and I need ESPN Plus. And then for a few dollars more, and who knows, it might be $1 million a month now. I have no idea. But Hulu, Disney, ESPN all together was like, it made more sense than just ESPN. So I got that. So I have Disney. So, Disney Plus has them, is telling me, okay, well, maybe I'm going to spend the rest of the day watching the Muppets until I have to go to a bunch of basketball practices. 4:30 to 6, 7 to 8, 8 to 9 for one kid, and then another kid has baseball 7 to 9. We can do it. We'll pull it off. We got 2 cars. It'll be fine. All right, I'm done for today. Done for today. Thanks for listening, watching, whatever you do. I always say listening, and I know people watch, but I don't know. I wouldn't watch. I would listen if I were you. I don't do a lot visually here. It's just me talking with a fake wood wall behind me. But I appreciate what you do. I would also appreciate if you went to the top of the chat in YouTube right now and clicked on thecasbuffalo.com, the link to buy tickets for the next episode of Brain Vault live at the Cas, which is super fun, but we need more people involved. So please do that. And every ticket you buy is going to come with a code to get another ticket for free. So you're buying, the price is, it's half. You're buying 2. You're getting one, but you're going to get another one in the future, and that one's going to be free. So please partake. Appreciate it. Thanks for listening, watching, whatever you do. And I'll be back with you tomorrow, hopefully to talk with Paul Pack about the Muppets. He didn't reply in the chat. Disney removing the Muppet Vision 3D from the park was a mistake. Muppet Vision 3D from I'm out on Disney stuff, man. I've never been. No desire. I have boys The youngest is 9. I have escaped the plot to make me go to Florida and deal with a mouse. I just, nope, no interest, never, not going. I have friends that go twice a year. I'm never going. I have a good friend who was just like me and rejected all of this. And then went once. Like, oh, you gotta go to Disney. I'm not going to Disney, Josh. Talking to you, buddy. No. Have fun. Enjoy. We'll hang out when you get back. But I'm not going there. But I would agree that removing the Muppets from Disney World, I assume you mean world, because we're on this side of the country. Removing Muppet Vision 3D is dumb. It's the best thing you got going. I didn't know you had it. All right, good show. Jay Skursky and the Muppets. That's what we've done today. Oh, God. All right, I'm going to end the show and go watch the new Muppet special. You should, too, because even though he didn't reply in here, I'm going to have Paul Peck on the show to talk about the Muppets. If I bring up if you're doing a show, just picture you're doing a show. I'm doing the thing that Nick and Depew talked about, which is where I say I'm done, and you got 20 more minutes. I'm going to be done within like a minute, I think. But if you're just doing a show and not really thinking about who might be listening or watching or paying attention, and then you're talking about the Muppets, and you're like, man, I got to see this show. And then legendary broadcaster Paul Peck is in the chat. He's like, I watched the Muppets last night, and it was great. How do you not book Paul Peck for tomorrow's show? He bought his way in. Scott Wilson will be on tomorrow, too, because tomorrow is Friday. Scott's on twice a week, Mondays and Fridays. So we'll have Scott at 11, and I predict strongly that we'll have Paul Peck at 10:30. I don't know what he's up to. We might have to record something today, but we got to talk Muppets. We're going to do senior Muppet correspondent Paul Peck. Has to chime in. But we just haven't had a lot of bowling action lately, and we don't want to not use him. You can't underutilize a team player like Paul Peck. You got to find a role for him. So we call him the bowling correspondent. He usually just comes on and talks about football. This time he's going to have to come on and talk about the Muppets. So that should be tomorrow, along with Scott Wilson, who may or may not have seen the Muppet thing. Thank you. Bye.
What are you doing for lunch?
I don't know. I have a turkey sandwich.
We're going to go around the corner. I think you should come with us. This is a great place.
Okay.
We brought you a shirt.
You get out of here? Will you get out of here? Will you? Now, will you go to lunch? Go to lunch. Will you go to lunch?